This is Cheska, a thief trained by the legendary Alucard Winter. Cheska grew up an orphan on the rough streets of Easthaven. She was later adopted into a loving home of halflings that she is now proud to call her family. By day, Cheska is a simple baker, helping her family's business. By night, she prowls the Easthaven rooftops, either on contract or simply to test her own thieving abilities. Her adoptive father got into hot water with a local crime boss over a gambling debt. This has forced Cheska to seek more work, which led her to receive an invitation to showcase her abilities to the infamous Arcane Underground, who has set her a task to investigate a situation unfolding in the frontier. If she's successful, she will gain membership to the elite organization. She now heads west to show her worth and put her years of training to use and claim her fortune. Welcome to the Kratorian Chronicles. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the series. I just wanted to touch base and quickly make a note that this episode in particular, Tegan decided to start playing. We started getting the story of Cheska unfolded, and it is literally me and her sharing one microphone. So, those who are tuning into the series are aware that I just kind of picked this up and we just started recording sessions. So the audio quality isn't the best, but if you want to know Cheska's origin story, this is the episode for you. She's an interesting character. She's going to have a big part to play later in the future. She has some backstory and whatnot that may become vital later on. So, I'll leave you with it. See ya. Now, I leave you with our newest character, Cheska, a professional thief who's been given a rare opportunity to prove herself with a mysterious organization known as the Arcane Underground. Thanks again for listening, and enjoy this episode of the Kratorian Chronicles podcast. Cheska, welcome. We're going to continue off from last session. I believe you were given an opportunity. A contract came through that was forwarded onto you by your mentor, Alucard Winter. He informed you that the Arcane Underground was seeking your services. Something that came as a bit of surprise to you. Something that you've probably secretly been hoping for some time. Invitations to serve this secret organization are very rare and usually earned through reputation. Alucard informed you at the Seabreeze Inn, kind of your loose base of operations, you could say, in Easthaven. The city you grew up in, the city that you have learned your trade as a thief, and from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, your trade is almost like an art form as well. Share with me, who is Cheska? What does Cheska look like?
Cheska is a tiefling.
Mm-hmm.
She is in her mid to late 20s. She has very dark purple skin, so that in sunlight, especially in shadows, it looks almost black. She has long black hair that's usually tied back in a plait or a ponytail, big kind of ram horns that curl down along the top of her head, down behind her ears, and kind of curl back up to the lobes of her ears. She has very nice, lilac eyes, a bit light. Not typical kind of tiefling, all lilac, they're very human kind of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So she still has a pupil, she still has the white eyes and everything. Whites of the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She has little light kind of lilac freckles, which comes with her very dark skin. That's kind of how they show up. She's very cheeky. When she's not thieving, as her nighttime job. She runs a bakery with her mum and her dad, adopted mum and dad. She was an orphan when she grew up, so they found her on the streets after she tried to steal some bread and took her in and taught her the trade. So she likes to bake as well.
Ah, awesome. What are their names, the parents? TBC, we can get back to that. Look, it's okay at this point.
I have them somewhere, just not on me.
No, that's fine. Not super important right now, because as we're about to find out, Alucard, what would you say? You'd have a loose fatherly...
Mentor, fatherly.
You know, he's a silver fox. Alucard Winter as well, for those listening, is... Cheska/Tegan has played as this character before, and we're picking up with her now. Basically, Cheska's earned her keep in the city of Easthaven at this point. Just so we can kind of get on with the story. She's done burglaries, she's stolen from nobles, she's kind of built a reputation, and her former, or should I say current mentor, not former, still current mentor, is a legendary thief that has retired named Alucard Winter. Alucard now runs a very prominent tavern in Easthaven known as the Sea Breeze Inn, and for those people who have been listening in, might make a connection with another character there. Alucard, he's done his dash, he's happy, he's lived a life of adventure. You also met Yusuf, the thief supplier, in your previous session as well, session 0 you could say, off recording. And Yusuf was kind of like Alucard's partner in crime, this kind of exotic individual.
He's almost like Cheska's sugar daddy now. Gives her all the good, all the little goodies.
Yes, I should say Uncle Yusuf.
Yeah, Uncle Yusuf.
Yeah.
Sugar uncle.
Sugar uncle. Okay, that doesn't sound creepy at all. But hey, we're in fantasy, right? But yes, and then you were then made more acquainted with another. Alucard is highly connected. I mean, if you're someone of that level as a thief, you're going to know a bit of everything. And that's kind of what he does now. He's more of a shadow broker, information broker than anything else these days. He doesn't necessarily have his hands on the tools anymore. And he runs the Sea Breeze Inn. He enjoys it too. He actually enjoys a very normal kind of occupation for a change. And Alucard Winter looks exactly how you'd imagine. He has the kind of the sharp goatee, what they call like the devil goatee. He kind of has that look. He has like the silver fox hair kind of slicked back. And he was very proud of you that he got to forward this information on from the Arcane Underground, and that a colleague of his happened to be setting off in the direction that you were. So the Arcane Underground asked Cheska to meet a colleague of theirs, someone who works for them, and informs them of goings-ons out in the frontier. A contact by you only known as Emerson. That's all the details that were given. And that you were to head to the town of Noldrin in the frontier. Dylan was on the same path, and he was leaving the next morning by coincidence, and you hitched yourself a ride with Dylan. Dylan is very reserved. He's a half-elf. He kind of has that roguish Clint Eastwood from the old westerns look about him. He even has a bit of a kind of like a cowboy fedora hat, as is the style of the frontier. You met his donkey Milo, and you're both heading out. You stayed out overnight at the Owl and Mouse Inn, and that's where we'll pick up. The next several days are uneventful. You make your way to New Celestia, a prominent city. Do you think Cheska has visited before, being a sister city to Easthaven?
Probably very briefly when she was younger, but she doesn't get out of the city much unless she goes to one of the extended family farms that are around the city.
And they're more to the south.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she may have when she was probably early teens, late teens, but hasn't kind of been back since. There's enough keeping her in East Haven.
If anything, the only real reason I could see Cheska heading in that direction is maybe she had a friend that was accepted into one of the colleges there. New Celestia is an interesting city. It's almost the polar opposite of East Haven in a lot of ways. It's run by a lot of wealthy, intellectual individuals. The city's run on a council. It has a very low crime rate. East Haven must just attract that sort, and they stay there. In New Celestia, it's more of like a university city. You've got a lot of colleges, you've got a lot of, kind of like you have a main university there. A lot of people are dedicated to understanding the histories. There's of Kratoria, there's a lot of scholars and whatnot. It's a very clean city. It's immaculate, it's well looked after, and it has strong elvish architecture. To your very basic understanding, Cheska would know that the city was just built upon elvish ruins. During the Shattering, there was once a prominent elvish city there that was laid waste. The most valuable thing that Cheska would know is that apparently the libraries underground in New Celestia that survived the Shattering have invaluable artifacts, books, and the like, but also under very strict guard. Not something that you could just walk into as street-level thief would call you at the moment, who is cracking that next level of professionalism. You've still got a lot to learn, despite your aptitude in thievery. You and Dylan pull into New Celestia really late in the evening. Like I mentioned, the road there has been safe. The main road, one of the only main roads in Kratoria that are safe, are between pretty much East Haven, New Celestia, and a little bit towards the Shield. And the Shield is a forest that then breaches into the frontier. You pull in very late at night. You look around, even late at night, there's lanterns lit. You're not sure if they're of arcane origin or not, or some technology of Elven, but they kind of have like a nice glow to them, and there's a lot of, it's like stone. It's literally, you could say, Skyreacher's prettier sister who looks after herself. You guys come in, you stay. We'll say, for the sake of this, in this instance, you didn't even catch the name of the inn. You just took Dylan's lead. He literally informed you that he knew someone in New Celestia that owed him a favour, and you guys got free accommodation for the evening, just on the outskirts. You didn't even really breach the city itself. You kind of stayed on the outskirts at an inn. Which I did have here. I put the effort to making this stuff, so I got to share it. You stayed at the Gilded Grape. So it was a very, very... You kind of come in, and you came in at about the equivalent of about 11 o'clock, and they were closing up. Dylan kind of smoothed it over with some smooth words, and the owner owed him a favour, from what you gathered, as you were kind of unpacking your wagon and getting your personal belongings. And it was immaculate inside. It was like, it easily looked better than any of the wine houses in East Haven. There was a couple of patrons left, rather snooty looking. That's the only real vibe you got. Well, they kind of gave you a look over and went back to drinking their high-priced wines. There are a couple of rooms upstairs that you stayed in for the evening, and you hit your head to the pillow, you're awake the next morning, back on the road with Dylan. And just for brevity, The journey was very safe. It was even a little bit mundane. You made your way through from New Celestia the next morning before the sun even rose, and you made your way to the Shield by the end of the next day. You hopped on a ferry with a lot of other merchants and travellers, and you kind of caught a barge, and you can see it on the map here, where that tree line is. And you started to make your way west to Noldrin. Another few days pass on the river. You're protected, there's guards, there was no real threat or interference. You saw a couple of bugbears in the distance that once I'd noticed that the barge was kind of secure with guards and archers and whatnot, just kind of left it alone. You continue to follow the river west, and when you awoke the next morning, you awoke south of the town of Noldrin. You made your way off the barge, and at this point, Dylan just walked Milo. You just walk with the horse and cart side by side. Well, I have a strong idea of where Emerson may be. I am familiar with this interesting character.
Alucard did mention that he runs a place called the Emporium.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm assuming that's where I would look first.
Believe me when I say you won't miss it.
Okay.
You two continue walking. He plays his harmonica as he has for most of the trip, as you know from last session. And you make your way into Noldrin. You probably weren't too sure what to expect. But for you, Tegan, it looks exactly like an old frontier town from the Old West. Mm-hmm. It has a main road that's heavily earthen-worn, dust coming up. You can see a lot of foot traffic with wagons and people that you would call... Noldrin's been around for a while now, but it still has that very much of that early settler look about it. Mm-hmm. What is interesting that Dylan didn't quite mention was Noldrin is accepting of all kinds. Mm-hmm. This Noldrin is elvish for new beginnings. And Emerson kind of shares with you a brief history of the place, that when Noldrin was first settled by the Hoofbrands. The Hoofbrands are like a prominent name in town. And over a century ago, when it was first settled, it was settled by an adventuring party. And that adventuring party also had a pit fiend with it, very unique. And that kind of opened up the doors to all kinds. Demons, devils coexist with every other humanoid here. There's an understanding here. Noldrin is, even though there's outbursts and there's still, a small level of crime just like anywhere else, there's an understanding between the peoples. There's a acceptance. Until you break the rules, you're welcome here. And you see these very interesting creatures kind of making their way. You're not quite in town yet, and they're kind of making their way down the path out of town. You see these frog, like strong, leathery skin with toad-like faces, probably about 4.5 feet tall, a couple of them varying in different colors, kind of croaking at each other, very narrow, sharp eyes, and one of them kind of makes eye contact with you. And Dylan turns to you. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I've travelled all of Kratoria, and seeing slides out in the open like that, yeah, that never gets old.
Sorry, what were they called?
Slod.
Slod.
They're the demon, frog-like creatures from the north.
I've never even heard of them.
Yeah.
It's definitely not something I would have seen in East Haven.
No, it's, the customs around here is, like I mentioned, they accept all kinds here.
Mm.
Until you break the law, everybody's given an opportunity for a fresh start.
Mm. I've definitely seen a few different, I suppose, kinds of people, but never anything like that. Cheska kind of just watches them go past with a bit of a side eye. Not making direct eye contact, but being wary.
And, if you ever need any help with the law, there's an Ifriti, who is the sheriff in town, as well. They also got, you ever heard of a Tabaxi?
The cat?
Yeah, like cat people.
Yep.
Very rare, but that's one of the deputies here. I'm just giving you a overall feeling of this place, to have an open mind. But you're from East Haven, so I automatically assume that you've probably seen a lot over the years.
Probably not as much as what I'll see here, but we'll soon find out.
Look, the thing with Noldrin is, people with a past, or people running from the past, this is where they come to start again.
Look, people's past and people's business are their own business and their own problems. I've got nothing to do with it, as long as they don't bring me into it.
The older half-elf kind of looks at you and kind of gives you like a reassuring wink of like, that's the way it should be. Well, my dear, it has been a pleasure. I have some personal things to attend to here. And you guys are making your way into town at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see a large purple tent on the outskirts of this frontier town.
Mm-hmm.
Just before you make your way in. Well, that there's the emporium you were looking for.
Is it an emporium or a circus?
You may want to talk to the owner about that.
Right, okay, well, Dylan, thank you so much for assisting me on the journey and keeping me company and letting me come along with you. And she gives Milo a good scratch behind the ears and a good pat.
Milo appreciates that and kind of, closes his donkey eyes and just leans into the scratch a little bit. The pleasure was all mine, Cheska, and yeah, I wish you all the best with your, how should I put it, trial of the underground.
Thank you. Well, no doubt we'll see each other again at some point.
Tips is milady.
Milady. Safe journey, Dylan.
Safe journey, Cheska.
I'll take off towards the big purple tent.
You continue to just see other folk too. You see some halflings that you're very, very accustomed to. Mm-hmm. And you look around and it's Noldrin's a hive of activity. People tend to be walking with a bit of purpose or coming into town with wagons and carriages or livestock. Like, it's a bit of the center of the beehive here, even though it's a very, like, one-way street. You can see what maybe looks like, you can see probably one or two taverns from where you are. You can see that Dylan's kind of skirted off to the left and making his way to what looks like a big stable area where he might be putting Milo up so he can take care of his personal activities. And Emerson is just kind of a little bit off in this green grassed area, but there is very much a clear pathway that leads to this tent that simply just has Emerson's written across the top in a very, very nice kind of cursive writing. It looks like iron or something someone local might have made for him.
As she walks up to it, is there many people kind of coming in and out of the tent or kind of lingering around it?
Oh, yeah.
People kind of giving it a wide berth?
Oh, no, no one's minding the tent. They're just making their way. You actually get a couple of people just nod. Look, Cheska stands out in this town. You're wearing, the East Haven fashion. You've got this nice thick cloak on. Cheska probably's, everyday beauty standards might be a little bit higher to those of the frontier who've kind of, caked dirt on their face. And this is a hard-working place.
Yep.
With hardworking people, you can just get that impression straight away.
As she's walking along as well, she's just going to lightly tap on her little tuning fork earring that she has, just to see, if there's any kind of magic that's being picked up by it as she walks.
So you make your way to the Emporium. And you it's nice. It's this deep satin kind of tent with some blues, and there's a little bit of pinstripe going on. There's some, like a beaded entryway, and you can smell aromas coming out of the tent as well. There's an exotic feeling. And you've been to kind of like, exotic stores in East Haven. Like, you have a feeling of what you might be walking into here. You make your way in, and it's almost as if you've hit a boundary to this place. Your tuning fork just goes, like it's actually shaking your ear.
Yep.
At this point.
Like bashing against my neck. Just gonna hold up for a second and
and obviously it warns you of nearby magic, and it's vibrating at a very high frequency.
Magic store, got it.
Which is interesting to you. Magic stores aren't something that are run-of-the-mill in Kratoria, compared to maybe some other settings. They're around, but they're usually associated with something.
Mm-hmm.
But you've never seen one so flamboyant, so out in the open, literally like a purple tent.
Black market kind of shady alleyway dealings with magic, so this is interesting.
Interesting.
Well, I'll walk on in and kind of, as I walk in, have a really good look around to see what I can see and if anyone is in there.
Absolutely. You walk in and you see glass cabinets with various knickknacks, amulets, even some weapons. There's not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's busting at the seams with items. And you do see what looks like a counter with no one there. You're alone in this. And with this tent, by the way, it's not like a circus tent where it's huge. It's literally a tent that's probably the size of a room.
Mm-hmm. Before I do anything else, can I just do a quick inspection or look around to see if any items particularly catch my eye?
You do see what looks like a very nice green necklace.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of has a little bit of a gem in the center behind the little glass cabinet there. You also see what looks like a silver sword. It's still nice craftsmanship. And you also see what looks like behind the counter small potions and various maybe alchemical things. Like maybe this is a one-stop shop for people in the neighborhood, around these parts, for these oddities.
Mm-hmm. But there's no other customers or patrons in the store. It's
completely
just
empty.
Okay. Okay, she's gonna just walk up to the counter and kind of see if she can peer behind it to see if there's perhaps someone crouching down.
You look over and all you can see is that it's a nice countertop. It looks like someone's polished this, or everything in here is quite nice and quite contrast to the world outside.
Mm-hmm.
No one.
Okay, she's just gonna go. Hello?
Oh, out here, dear.
Out here?
You can see a flap at the back of the tent that leads outside.
Okay, I'm coming through. Hope you don't mind. I'll just kind of go through the flap. Be really cautious about it, just in case.
You kind of peer through, and much like the rest of the frontier, you see these sprawling green fields that lay out in front of you. And in the distance, you can see snow-capped mountains.
Is this actually outside the tent, or is this a room inside the tent?
Oh, you have a feeling you've come out the back of this room-sized tent.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Mm.
You see Emerson. He sits at a large canvas in front of him as the natural splendor of green rolling fields and ice-capped mountains on the distant horizon. You haven't quite seen him yet. You just see these deep blue robes and this fine, his hair to a clean sheen, hair like shoulder-length black hair. You see pointed elven ears as well. I have lived here over a century, and I must admit, that view has not once ceased to take my breath away. T, and he turns to you, and you see this chiseled, full elf with these deep blue eyes and black eyebrows and clean-shaven, not looking a day over 35.
Well, I will admit it's very beautiful out here. I wouldn't get sick of it either.
Would you like some tea?
I'd love some tea.
You see a stunning porcelain tea set lays on a small table on the grass. The artistry and colours unlike anything you've seen. Oh, caught your eye, has it?
It's gorgeous.
Beautiful, aren't they? A friend of mine brought me a set all the way from the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. Truly a stunning culture. And their tea leaves absolutely divine. He pours 2 cups. With a flick of his wrist, a chair materializes beside you, out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, girl, you are a mess.
I apologise. I have been on the road, and I thought it best just to come see you before I go wash up somewhere.
Look, if you're staying in town, I suggest the Lazy Sphinx Inn. The twins there will take care of you. Tell them I sent you.
I will indeed.
And they have the best bathhouse in town, by far.
Oh, the bath would be so good right now.
The marble, imported from Valmiriel.
Ooh.
I swear those 2 spare no expense.
Sounds fancy. I will definitely go and give it a look. I'll just take a sip of the tea.
Emerson just goes back to his large canvas and strokes gently, dipping his paint.
Now, Emerson, I have been told to come see you for a particular reason. I'm assuming you know I've come from East Haven on business.
Yes, yes, my dear. Down to business, is it? Yes, I have provided my expertise to the curator. Any baubles or artifacts I have no interest in, or any strange goings-on, I inform them, for a fee, of course. Something interesting has been transpiring of late around the frontier. Kobolds, of all things. I'll take you back to what information I have. Young, dashing colleague of mine who was passing through Noldren some months back had an encounter with these, what I like to call, ascended kobolds. kobolds that have been... What is the best word? Transmutated, mutated, ascended, changed, my dear, changed.
So they're smarter than they usually would be?
Kobolds are... Many people dismiss the small creatures, but they are quite wily. They are quite intelligent, quite the inventors at times, but they've been more ruthless, more organized, more dwelling upon the surface as of late. A young friend of mine, a tiefling as well, funny enough, named Calavene, and his friends came across a temple in the mountains.
Sorry, just to cut you off there, Emerson. How long ago did you see Calavene?
I would say 2 months, maybe 3 months back.
Okay. Sorry, continue.
Does the name ring a bell?
Yeah, he usually works for Alucard back in East Haven, and we just haven't seen him in a while, so it's good to know that he was, at some point, still alive and well.
Yes, his fate, sadly, is unknown at this time. But I digress to the matters at hand.
Yes, of course.
These kobolds have become a lot more organized. There was a temple that Calavene and his friends came across in the mountains several months back. He actually rescued two of the kobolds. When this ascension takes place, apparently there is a shard involved, a shard of the Scaled Betrayer, an aspect of a deity that was believed to have been destroyed during the Shattering. I believe that Calavene informed me that there was a shaman involved with rituals that would bring about power, making the kobold stronger, smarter, more savage. Seemed as if he was trying to create an army. Calavene's interference stopped those plans, and we didn't think much of it. We sent, or should I say, the sheriff sent scouts, and the hunter's mark also sent some rangers to investigate the temple afterwards, and it seemed the kobold had disbanded. It seemed like whatever was happening in that temple was put to an end, and everybody got on with their lives. Calavene retrieved 2 friendly kobolds from that temple. Not all, they were known as the defective. Not all kobolds went through this malicious transformation. The shard also, in some unique individuals, brought forth their will, brought forth their passion. And though it seems that this shaman was building an army of ruthless warriors for his bidding to, I don't know, maybe appease his goddess, it seems like some positivity came out, a bit of a silver lining, and we have 2 new citizens in Naldrin. And this is who I believe you need to go see. Kobold came into town about 2 weeks ago. Something unique about him. Whilst kobolds are usually a reddish colour, their scales more of inclined to be that colour. This is quite perplexing. This kobold had green scales. And his story, from what I've been told, from Gormwim, one of the kobolds from the mountains to the north that Calavene liberated, is that the shaman wasn't stopped, and the shaman has found another shard of this forgotten goddess. From my understanding, the last shard, this aspect of rage, as Calavene put it, was actually stolen by a thief posing as an archaeologist. I, at first, didn't have much to say, assuming that it was a thief of the Arcane Underground. I mean, your organization has many means of procuring certain items, so I didn't question it. I thought it might have been in safe hands with the curator back in Easthaven, but I believe it may have been another party that stole this shard, so its whereabouts is still unknown.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that there are many temples dedicated to this destroyed goddess, and that she may be trying to use her kobolds, influencing them to bring her back. So,
find the shard, speak to the kobolds first, find the shard, bring it back. Bring it back to where exactly? Am I supposed to bring this back to you?
well, you may want to speak to Gormwim about that.
Gorwin.
Yes, I'm simply the middleman in this situation.
That is fine. You've been extremely helpful.
From what he tells me, I don't think that it would be possible for you to retrieve this artifact in its current situation. Talk to Gormwim, and he'll introduce you to our little green friend known as Hiccup.
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 Okay. I will do exactly that. Thank you so much for your help, Emerson. You've been extremely helpful. The tea has been delicious as well. And I'll take your note on the lazy sphinx.
Yes,
Get
and
myself washed up.
that is where you'll find Gormwim.
Even better.
Yes, he's working in the kitchen out the back, so please speak to him.
Wonderful.
Look, I am just here to pass on the information. Anything that is, it seems like the curator has had an interest in this, and he may have more information if you retrieve the shard. But also just to scout if it exists, just to verify Hiccup's situation. I believe he escaped. I believe that there's still many, many kobolds up there. So I think, if anything, you may have been sent to verify and scout this location.
Alright. Verify and scout. Done. Will not retrieve unless it seems like it's possible. Okay.
Have you done this kind of work before, my dear?
On a smaller level. Usually with a little bit more instruction.
I sense a trial is taking place.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, dear. Dear, I tell you what. I like you. On the way out, help yourself to one of the potions. Choose any, but choose one.
I will do exactly that. Are they any particular kind of potion? She says as she turns back around just to make sure.
Oh, I have a variety. Help yourself. They're all labelled.
Ah, wonderful. I will do that, and I'll no doubt see you again.
Take care, my dear.
Thank you, Emerson. Enjoy the view and enjoy the tea. Alright, Cheska will walk back in, and she's going to take a squiz at the potion shelf.
It's a nice, nice little, almost like a spice rack.
Oh, yeah.
With, small little, cute little potions. Emerson definitely has a flair for style.
Mm-hmm.
You can see there's a green vial of poison resistance. There's your typical health tonic. You actually see a couple of healing salves as well. The ones that he has on display tend to be lesser potions.
Yeah.
There's a potion of strength as well, and vitality. So to clarify, there's a potion of vitality, there's a potion of strength, and there's a potion of poison resistance.
Yeah, don't know that.
Potion of stone skin.
Ooh.
And potion of fire breathing. As well as your standard health potions.
The vitality one, does that just make her... What does that one do?
Vitality?
Yeah.
You have a feeling, just with Cheska's broad knowledge, it may make you a little bit more hearty.
Okay.
You got to take more of a hit.
Like temporary hit points. What has she got potion-wise? And stone skin would just make it harder to, like, her armor class would go up. Sorry, this is all just me umming and ahhing. She will take... Just take the potion of stone skin.
It's interesting, you take one of the potions away off the shelf, another potion of stone skin just immediately takes its place. Like replenishing stock.
God damn, that's some magic. How the hell is he doing this? Alright, she'll tuck that away in her little, one of her little... You know what, she's going to put that one in her pocket, in her never-ending pocket inside her coat book. Just for safekeeping. Things tend to not get broken in that. So she'll stick that in that pocket, kind of give a little jingle, make sure she can hear it rattling around in there, and then she leaves.
You make your way out of the Emporium.
The Emporium.
Back onto the street of Noldrin.
And I'll, well, have actually, while I'm here, what other shops can she kind of see? Like, what else kind of fills the main street other than a couple of inns and...
You can see... You can hear clanging and banging, and you can see a blacksmith around the centre of town. Some smoke piling out. You see a lumber yard, very much at the end, and you can see there's a T-junction in the centre of town, and there's some buildings in the way. You do see a lot of people's, homes as well as part, but then you see there's a general store as well. So I take it Cheska's just gone for a walk into town at this point.
Yeah, just to have a little bit more of a look around. Also to try and find the lazy sphinx, because she did not notice that on the way in.
Yeah, well, this is your first time walking into town. So you're walking in. You also see something called the Hunter's Mark. You see another building that looks like it just says Sheriff, kind of hanging from a sign. You see one known as the Cartographers Guild. Kind of makes sense, I suppose. This is all new things to be discovered out here. You see what looks like out the back, you got your blacksmith. And you also see what looks like a bit of a tinkerer's shed out the back.
Okay.
You see another tavern and it just is called the Mule's Kick. And you see a general store as well. It just says general store in big letters. There's a mayor's office near the sheriff's office. And you see the Lazy Sphinx Inn as well, near the centre of town.
Perfect. Well, she's pretty well packed when she first came, so she might just head straight to the Lazy Sphinx Inn and just see if she can find Gorwin.
Absolutely.
Gorwin or Hiccup. Just get this show on the road, have a bath, get some information. She'll get the information she needs, rack up for the night, have a bath, have some food, get rested, and leave in the morning if she can.
Not a problem. You make your way into the Lazy Sphinx Inn, and it's just like the Old West. You kind of step up onto a patio. The Lazy Sphinx, compared to a lot of the other buildings around here, very nice. You feel like there's a lot of money being invested into this place. It really stands out.
Oh my God, it's a pretty penny to stay here.
You walk in and you see what looks like a half-elf. Similar kind of hair length to Emerson, but he has black hair as well, but it's kind of in a ponytail out the back, and it's about shoulder length as well. Very kind of sharp, half-elven features, and he has that kind of saloon almost look to his attire with a vest on, but it's all very nice in the pinstripe collared shirt. He sees you walk in, and he notices the clothing that you're wearing. Immediately, you kind of catch his eye. You look around, and you can see tables and people eating food, and there's this nice hearth on one side of the tavern. All stone on the inside. Very, very different to the outside world again. Good morning. My name is Vienta. How may I help you? And welcome to the Lazy Sphinx Inn.
Thank you very much, Vienta. Just looking to room for the night, possibly food, bath, all the usual goods for someone that's been on the road. My friend Emerson told me to come and stay. He recommended the place.
Of course, Emerson. Our rooms start, and he gives you like his gentle nod, a discount for the first night at 80 silver per night. And yes, a bathhouse is included.
Wonderful. Well, let's book myself a room for the night to start with.
Excellent. Good choice. He takes down your details, your name. Cheska, very interesting name. And by the way, dear, I love what you're wearing.
Thank you very much.
Let me guess, East Haven?
Correct.
Yes, lovely.
Thank you. It's kind of handmade. It's, all the rage back home at the moment.
He notices your hairstyle as well. You're kind of like your bob with your... And he's just kind of looking it up and down. You can see that this co-owner of the Lazy Sphinx with his twin sister, who isn't here at the moment, appreciates your decorum. Yes, room number 4.
Wonderful, thank you. I will go take my bag up and I'll come and have some food and soak in the atmosphere.
As you go to leave, you hear a clang and a bang. 1 second. And he kind of walks out the back and you hear some, like, a bit
I'm
of...
going to try and peer around if I can.
Absolutely. 1 moment. And he was kind of... What is going on in here, you two? I told you, Hiccup isn't used to using these utensils yet.
That's what I want. Okay, wonderful.
Vienti comes back out and nods and smiles.
Wonderful. Alright, I will be back down soon. Thank you so much. The little back door that he went out, is that anywhere close to where I'm walking? Can I, have a good peer in?
You can kind of... they're kind of like those...
I'm assuming it's the kitchen.
It is. Door. There's a swinging door there, and you can kind of see it's about hip height where the door swings. And you can see these green feet, scaled feet, on one side of what looks like a table in the kitchen, and some red. And you can hear what looks like some very quiet yipping and yapping between them.
Okay. I will go drop my bag off, because now I know exactly where they are. She'll go up to the room, drop the bag off, set up her little usual string kind of trap on the door so she knows if anyone's been in there. And she doesn't leave any of her valuables really in the room. Everything's kind of on her person or in her little cloak pocket. It's just kind of her bedroll and her extra clothes and stuff. That bag can stay there. But gold, potions, weapons, all on her person.
Absolutely.
Not obvious either. Alright, she's just gonna, make sure it's all lifted up and then walk back down. And as she comes back down, just see if Vienti's still near that door or if she can kind of slip in there.
Vienti's just standing at the bar, which is kind of facing, and he turns and he goes, "Yes, is there anything else I can help you with?"
I am actually looking for someone called Gorman as well. Gorman?
Yes.
And Hiccup?
Yes, he's one of our latest, newest newcomers. So please, if there's anything wrong with the food, let me know.
I don't think that'll be a problem.
Okay.
Would you mind if I had a quick chat to them?
Oh, absolutely.
I know they're on the clock, but...
No, that's fine. We don't have many customers at the moment, and I think they're due for a morning break anyway.
Alright, just poke my head out there. Does he mind if I go out the back?
Oh, into the kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of just watches you walk in and doesn't have a problem with it.
I'll kind of poke my head in and see where those two are.
You see a red kobold. A little bit higher. Do you think, has Cheska come across kobolds before?
She's probably seen one, maybe, Not very many. She kind of knows of them, but she'd know that they're not particularly tall.
No. This kobold is a lot taller than you'd imagine, standing at about 4.5 feet.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Kind of leaning over what looks like a large table with fruits and vegetables and cuts of meat. And he's actually wearing the equivalent of like a chef's hat.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very entrenched in what he's doing, a very professional chef vibe. Mm-hmm. And he's slightly frustrated with this other kobold who's just... Gormwim's got the entire suit too. Like, he looks like a professional chef. And he's kind of whisking away in a bowl with what looks like some egg whites or something. And he's kind of watching this green-scale kobold on the other side who's awkwardly trying to cut some carrots. And you just hear... It's just... like this yipping, this strange yipping between them that's very quiet. And their attention both turn to you.
Sorry to disturb you, boys. Gorman, Hiccup, I'm assuming?
Yes?
Wonderful. Just gonna pull up a little stool and kind of sit down and be like, I've been asked to come and see you. I need some assistance or some knowledge on the aspect of Rage Shard. What can you tell me about it? Don't worry, I'm not... Sorry. I'm not gonna go get it. I'm not gonna use it for anything nefarious. I've been asked to go get some information on it. I need to scout out the situation and come back.
Vienta? We're just gonna go for our break. No problem. Don't be too long. What was your name?
Sorry, Cheska. Nice to meet you, and I offer my hand.
Gormwim. And his kind of scaly, taloned hand gently wraps around yours. Mm-hmm. From what you've heard of kobolds, this is not what you were expecting.
Nope, not at all.
Not one bit. And the other one is green-skinned, and you've never... or green-scaled, I should say, and you haven't quite heard of that. These piercing yellow eyes. I'm Gormwim. This is Hiccup.
It's lovely to meet you both.
Yeah.
Sorry to have startled you with such a abrupt question, but time is obviously of the essence.
Well, it was only a matter of time, I suppose. Come on, come with me. And you go outside, and Gormwim kind of pulls out a satchel, and it looks like a small pipe with some kind of like equivalent of like king's foil tobacco. And he takes a... Well... What do you know?
All I know is that there was a shaman that was using shards, disappeared for a while, came back with this new shard, doing the same thing again, and a thief apparently stole it who was posing as an architect, and now it's unknown where the shard is.
Look, me and another kobold were set free by a tiefling.
Calavene, yep.
Yeah, Calavene, right, yeah, and, I didn't see what you could call a climactic showdown. I mean, we got the hell out of there. A friend of mine is now working at the tinkerer's shop. We, I mean, look, you know, I'm a kobold, right? And most of my life, I lived a very normal kobold existence, you know, hunting, gathering, working away in our mines, and one day this shaman shows up, and, you know, he comes with his bag of tricks, you could say, and kind of impressed everybody, and he started forcing an evolution on us. You know, look, I'm appreciative of it now. Right, Hiccup? And Hiccup just kind of, like, nods a little bit. But I felt like my brothers and sisters paid a price.
Was it painful?
Yeah. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, I've grown about a foot.
Yeah, if you don't mind me saying, you are very tall for a kobold.
Yeah, I whatever that shard is, I mean, I was kept in the dark. Literally, when I didn't come out the way that they wanted me to, I was labeled as defective and made to work in the kitchens.
May I ask, if you're defective, what are the others... What happened to them?
Too aggressive. They're just bloodthirsty, and they weren't always like that. I know kobolds have got bad names. Everyone treats us like trash because we decided that we like to live out in the wilderness. That's just who and what we are.
Exactly.
But these shards, changed my brothers and sisters. This red one in particular made them more savage, more brutal, really mean. They weren't always like that. I mean, we're considered savages by, the humanoids of Kratoria.
So are goblins and so are humans, though, let's be honest.
I mean, everyone's a bit savage, but this shard it awoke something in us. I mean, it didn't for me, and it didn't for Hiccup here in his unique circumstance, and it didn't for my friend. But we were a very, very small percentage. This shaman was trying to build an army. And I heard he got away. Sadly, our chief was killed by Calavene and his friends. Our chief wasn't always a bad guy. He made mistakes, but the shaman he changed everything. And you can kind of see Hiccup. Gormwyn may not have spoken much about this, and Hiccup listens very solemnly. Like he's going through something very similar. It's talking about raising our goddess, but everyone else bought into it.
Sorry, our goddess? Which goddess was he trying to raise?
Some scaled tyrant of the past that was defeated during the Shattering. I don't care. I'm just happy I got out of there, right? And this is where Hiccup comes in.
Because he didn't come with you, did he?
Hiccup, you want to take over? And Hiccup kind of pipes up. Yeah, we had a very similar situation. The shaman shows up, except that he's got like a green crystal, talking about some aspect. And started turning, promising us power and, that we're going to take back the land that's ours. And he's a very charismatic individual. And I'm not going to lie. I bought into it too. As kobolds, whenever we come across you people in the wilderness, you attack us, you treat us like we're savages. We just like to be left alone. Anyway, look, not to retread ground, but a lot of what happened to Gormwyn and his friend. When I didn't come out, greedy and conniving.
So slightly different. They weren't angry like Gormwyn's folk.
Yes and no. Similar but different. It was
all sly, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Slippery.
Yeah, lying and deceitful. I mean, but like Gormwyn was getting to, it also awakened other things. Like, Gormwyn is an incredible cook. I mean, this guy's got dreams of opening up a restaurant in East Haven and Skyreach. Like, it gave him something as well. But from our brothers and sisters, it just took it away. We consider ourselves lucky. And me, and that's the best, that's a really good name too, Gormwyn. Defective. And seen us as weak and lesser. I've still got brothers and sisters locked in cages. And I'm not strong enough to go back and free them. I'll probably just get caught again. The ones have become more aggressive. They're very capable warriors. I can see what the shaman's getting at.
How long ago did you escape?
Probably over a month ago. I spent some time on a ranch. I got caught stealing in this farm, but the owner was nice enough. He let me work off my debt, and he heard about Gormwyn and his friend, and sent me this way. And I've been here for what's it been? Maybe the past couple of weeks, and just helping Gormwyn in the kitchen.
So when you left Hiccup, the shaman was still there, and he was still changing all your friends and family, and
yeah.
Do you guys know anything about an architect that came along?
And, no.
Hmm.
No. Not this time. I think I know what you mean, the archaeologist.
Okay, so that was the last time.
Yeah. No, this... Gormwim? And Gormwim kind of pops up. Yeah, no, we had, Grok's cousin. Grok runs the local blacksmith. His cousin was locked in with us, and he helped Calavene and us escape. And my friend now works with Grok at his blacksmith because he's an incredible tinkerer. And that's what they were doing. They were making us use our passion for bad. They were making him create weapons. Yeah. And Hiccup chimes back in again. Look, what is it that you actually want from us? I just don't feel like there's anything we can do.
Hiccup, if I need to steal you for a little while to show me whereabouts all this happened, would that be okay with you? Not steal you, sorry. Ask for your assistance.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I can show you. I'm willing to come with you and show you where they are. One moment. And he turns to... And they kind of have that yipping conversation. I will show you where this temple is on one condition. You help me free my friends. They're at the temple. But you need to promise me that you'll help me free them.
These friends of yours, have they been changed, or are they like you?
They're like me. Yeah, they've been changed. They've been changed. They're like me. They're defective. They're not bloodthirsty morons.
How guarded are they?
Well, I escaped. They're on the outskirts of the camp. If I had someone with some skill, you look like someone who's capable. You just got looking over you in your mysterious kind of gown that you've got on your cloak. Look like you know your way around that kind of thing. I'm just not made like that. I just need help. Oh, do you want to roll a deception check?
No, Cheska's just thinking if it's worth getting possibly killed or if she should help him. Look, I can't promise I'll get them out without getting myself killed, which will then not help your friends. I may be sneaky, but I'm not particularly good in combat if something goes down.
No, I understand. Look, I mean, you've come this far.
I can try, or I can at least see how locked up they are, but I would prefer not to get killed, if that makes sense.
Oh, I understand. It's, and I know. It seems like you come asking questions about the shard, and you're probably gonna go look into it. So I thought, hey, if you can help my friends, help my friends. But I understand. Let's assess the situation. I'll try. I mean, I don't want to get myself killed either.
Yes, I don't particularly want either of us getting too close. We need to get close enough just to make sure that it's still happening and where it is. Doesn't mean we're getting up close and personal.
Okay.
But if there's an opportunity to try, I will try.
Deal.
Done.
And he kind of looks up at you with his
shake his little hand.
Okay. And he turns to Gormwim and they have another little yip yapping session. Okay. And he's like, you can say he's quite nervous. This hiccup, hence the name. Gormwim kind of yaps at him again, yips and yaps. And
Right, you've got the rest of the day until tomorrow morning to prepare yourself or get anything ready. You can also back out and just point me in the direction if you need to.
No, this is something I need to do. I need to come with you. I need to do this for them. They're my family. And Gormwim kind of like nods knowingly. 1 second.
And it's a week on foot.
Yeah, look, most of it's pretty safe. We head north, we head to Art's farm, or ranch, from there it's probably about 3 or 4 days through the wilderness. So, I guess you could spend the day getting whatever you need for that. I mean, I'm used to sleeping outside, so... But if you need any supplies or anything, I mean, now's the time to do it. We can set off tomorrow.
When you say wilderness, is it possible to get a horse or a donkey through there? Or is it too, closed bush?
There are some very tight forests. I mean, you could always talk to Art when we get up there. He's got a horse ranch.
That's what I'm thinking about from here to there.
It just comes down to how much gold you got.
Oh, whose horse isn't tied up properly?
What was that?
Sorry, nothing. Just calculating things in my head.
Yeah, no problem. Well, hey, look, you two.
Yes, alright, so I'll let you two go. I'll organise things and I'll come and find you first thing in the morning.
Cool.
Alright, she's just gonna go back up to the room for a little bit. Check over everything and see what she needs. What time of day is it at the moment?
It's late morning now, pushing on to lunchtime.
Okay. I've got healing potions, I've got... grappling hook. Could probably go with some extra food for the road, which she might just get at the corner store. Sorry, did Hiccup say how long it took from here to the ranch?
No, but just for the sake of it, we'll say you gathered. It's probably a day away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not make much difference if we get a horse there. Okay. She will... Alright, Jessica's gonna go get some food first and have a wash up and everything in the bathhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll go get some extra food and stuff for the road from the general store, I suppose.
Yeah, cool. You make your way through town and it's pleasant. There's this nice breeze that rolls off of these hills. You think from the mountains there must be this nice icy cool breeze that kind of hits the land and hits the plains and just kind of rolls into town. Everyone seems quite friendly. East Haven can be a city, and when you walk around Noldrin, you have this feeling of possibilities. You have thoughts into your mind of man, I could throw up a bakery here. Mm-hmm. There's a feeling of space here. There's a feeling of development that's kind of enticing to people who pass through. You make your way to the general store. Mm-hmm. And it says, Devons. You walk in, you see the owner. He's bald, stocky, late 40s. And he's kind of just standing behind the what's it called? Counter.
Yeah.
So yeah, the counter. He's standing just behind the counter, and it looks like he might be flipping through his through one of his books that he's got. Oh, welcome, little lady. I haven't seen you before. Welcome to the general store.
Thank you. I'm just browsing for now. I'll let you know if I need anything.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Take your time. And I haven't seen you before. Welcome to Noldrin.
Thank you very much. It's a very lovely place. What do they have in this general store? Looking around,
You look around and a general, meaning kind of just a bit of everything. There's a little bit of everything. You even see what looks like a bucket of worms for fishing in the nearby river. You can see very standard housing supplies. There's each aisle has something a little bit different. It just comes down to what you're looking for.
Yeah. She's probably just looking more bit of jerky, bit of dried fruit.
Got
things
that.
that are easy.
You actually see that as you walk in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get some of that to put in the backpack, just because obviously it's kind of gone down a little bit traveling with Dylan. To Naldrin, so just stock up on that. She has potions. Yeah, it's kind of just more like food, just generic travel needs.
Did you have camping supplies? Is there anything like that you want to consider?
I mean, I have the what is it called? I've got like matches and stuff. If I need to start a fire, I've got oil. If I really need to start a fire.
Did you bring a bedroll or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got a bedroll, and I've got like a not a flask, a water skin and stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just kind of the basic food needs.
Yeah. You walk through the aisles and you have a browse and you see what looks like just like a little portable boiling pot, things like that, just to give you an idea of what's around. General knickknacks, you got your typical trade supplies like shovels and pickaxes and things like that in one aisle. And you've got what looks like horsing, things for horses. You see ones that look like they're for some kind of other animal. And yeah, it's just very general when you walk around. Was that it? Is that all you're after?
Yeah, that's all I need.
Okay. And you make your way back to Devon. That is some grade A jerky. That is an excellent choice.
Looks very tasty. I'm pretty excited to try it.
Who makes that one again? I think that may come from Big Red's farm, actually. He has a bit of a hobby when it comes to... He's trying to get the best spiced jerky. So I think some of those spices actually come all the way from Kasuth. So you're in for a treat, little lady.
Certainly am. I'll just have to... Big Red. Make sure I note that for the future.
Yeah, he runs a Drake ranch just out of town, probably about half a day away. He comes in from time to time. I haven't seen him for a while now, come to think of it. Anyway, yes, that'll be... And he looks over everything. For you, 20 silver.
Done. Slap over the 20 silver. Just before I head off, is there a bakery in town at all?
We do have one at the market. Not open today, though. We don't have, like, a bakery or anything.
That's fair. What time would they usually... Like, if they're open tomorrow, what time would they usually open?
I think they're open every third day.
Okay.
Most people come in and get their supplies. Come and think of it. No one has opened a bakery. And he just kind of gets lost in thought for a moment. Yeah, we got the farmer's market that opens every few days. It won't be open tomorrow, but it'll be open the day after that.
Okay, cool. No problem. Thank you very much for your help.
Happy to be of help. Have yourself a lovely day.
You too, sir. Alright. She'll leave and head back to the inn and suppose shower, eat.
By the time you
Maybe
make back to the
glass.
Lazy Sphinx, you're starting to get more of a crowd come in. A bit of an afternoon crowd. There's a bit more ale on tap. You see the twin sister there now as well, and she's dressed up to the nines behind the counter, also with a vest. You can see they've got like this matching uniform thing going on.
Yeah.
Also dark-haired elf with dark features. She kind of looks at your East Haven haircut very closely and kind of whispers at her brother. You make your way up to your room. And yes, there's a bathhouse downstairs for individual genders as well, so you can just go. And you wanted to clean up and stuff, I believe. You make your way down, and Emerson wasn't lying. You're the only one in the bathhouse at this time, being like early afternoon, and it's just this immaculate, deep bath in the ground made out of marble, and it's silky smooth. It reminds you of the incredible bathhouses in Siren's territory back in East Haven. There's no kidding. They've spared no expense. This beautiful lilac smell kind of fills the entire bathhouse, and there's hot water buckets outside that are kind of left on boil all day.
Okay, well, she'll just chill, relax, clean up, and just kind of lay there for a bit in the bath, and she'll kind of sit there, just make sure that there's absolutely no one around, and no way of... Actually, can she do a quick inspection check just to see if there's any way that anyone could listen in if they weren't within the room?
Yeah, sure. It's just a open bath with multiple baths. Like if someone else came in, you'd see them, but you can be discreet with a towel.
Yeah.
They have towels. But it's quite open.
Okay, she'll just kind of sit down and she'll be like, alright, so I've got to find out what happened, which I've kind of found out. Got to find the location of the shard, which, heading there. Got to find out if the shaman is still there with the green shard, because the red one's gone. Possibly save Hiccup's friends. 1, 2, 3. Okay. How on earth am I going to save his friends if they're guarded? She just kind of sits there and just thinks, kind of runs through everything in her head, what she has to do and what could possibly happen, and that's how she kind of spends her bath.
Memories of home kind of start to flood your mind too as you kind of let the water seep in, and the lilac smells are quite relaxing, and the thought enters your mind that this is the furthest you've been from home ever. And you can't help but a small grin run across your face when you realise that despite the lack of instruction, that the Arcane Underground has given you an opportunity. Something you've been working for a very long time. And you're here. It happened so quickly. From East Haven to Noldrin. You know, you think of the business, you think of your parents, and you know that they're having a little family gathering in Hilltown as well. And you start to doze a little bit, and you wake up and, wait, I'm here on business. This is a really nice bathhouse. It does its job. You felt relaxed, you feel refreshed, you make your way up to your room, and you've still got the evening.
She doesn't do much with it. She eats, hangs out in kind of the tavern area, just kind of looking over everyone, enjoying the atmosphere, and then has an early night and makes sure that everything's ready for the next morning. There's
a wholesome vibe to this town. That's what you picked up on. There's you kind of have a thought of, like, you go, I think I know why Calavene stayed here. There's a genuine camaraderie amongst the townsfolk here. You know, this village/town. They work hard. It's obvious they play hard. Sleep takes you very quickly. It's been a big day. You do see Dylan that night speaking with what looks like this hooded, scaled, bronze-scaled individual. He kind of catches your eye and he just kind of nods at you respectfully, but goes back to what looks like a very intense conversation with this hooded individual. Before you know it, you're awake the next morning. You've slept in as well. Just, I think the journey on the road for the past few days really got to you. And it was and these bedrooms are nice too. Like goose feather pillows. That lilac smell seems like some kind of trademark. Like the entire establishment is quite nice. You come down and you see Hiccup is already in the tavern bar area. And he's got his little knapsack on. He's got a little bag. One has like a crossbow or a slingshot. Holstered to one side. You look closer and goes, oh, that's not a crossbow. That is a slingshot. He has a slingshot and he has a large cooking spoon holstered as well. On his other belt loop. Okay, Chesker, I'm ready.
Alright, first things first.
Yes.
Need to get some bread and some cheese for the road.
I can do that.
Done.
And he makes his way out the back, and you hear some yipping, and you hear some, like, annoyed yipping from what sounds like Gormwim, who's already started working for the day. And he comes back out. with butter, a whole stick of butter in one hand and a whole what looks like a loaf or baguette in the other, just looking at you. I got it.
Perfect. Let's go, buddy.
Okay, and he just can.
I'll take it off him and I'll pop it in my backpack. At least we've got lunch for later.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
You and Hiccup hit the road.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is just in the sky, and that cool breeze off the mountains, like, you know why they've settled here.
Yeah.
It's just rolling green hills in all directions, and then on the horizon you start to see what looks like forest tree line at the base of the mountains. Mm-hmm. To the south, you've got these rolling, rapidy rivers that you came in on the barge. I just kind of cut all of that just to, like, get us on the road, just so you know, because there was a bit of a journey. As a DM, I choose to just excerpt so we can get on with it, or else we would have just got to Noldrin. And you're on the road. The theme music kicks in, the sun's rising in the sky, and Cheska, maybe for the first time in her life, is setting out into the wilderness. Well, in this case, to Art's Ranch. And if you'd like to, that's where we'll leave it for today.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and Hiccup on the road.
Let's start.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you think?
Very good.
Yeah?
Me and Hiccup on the road.
You and Hiccup, hey? Hiccup.
Time to go find some shards.
Yes.
And maybe save some friends.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Hey there, I just want to say thank you for tuning into the Kratorian Chronicles podcast, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.